right? That's probably why. Hold on a sec. So I'd like to begin the meeting with respectively acknowledging that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe under the terms of Robinson-Huron Treaty number 61 of 1850 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. We are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank the generations of people who have taken care of this land and its waterways for thousands of years. Together, we commit to acknowledge, learn, educate, create opportunity, honor sacred places, and take action towards the real truth and reconciliation in our community. Ganesh Megwa, thank you very much. So, the next slide, please. I'm not sure what's happening to my slides here. Hold on a sec, something's gone funny with my screen. Okay.
No, that's hiding.
Oh. There we go. Not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. My apologies. So recent event on the lake, something that we want to thank our Huntsville Fire Department for their quick response in extinguishing a devastating fire on one of our islands, Island B, also named Breakfast Island and multiple other names, spontaneously caught on fire. We actually don't know how, but the flames spread quite significantly and quickly. And we wanted to just reach out and thank the Huntsville Fire Department for getting on scene. About 9 firefighters were on the island with pumps and managed to put out the fire with some damage, but not complete devastation. So we want to thank them for that. Next slide, thanks. Just a quick summary of some of our events and what we've been working on. The Communications Committee had worked for quite a while on launching a redesigned website and updated content. Deb's going to walk you through that in a few minutes. Our LVA treasurer initiated online banking, which we've never had before, and implemented electronic funds transfers, which was a big success. About half our membership, I believe, executed their membership fees through electronic funds transfer. Board members were involved in the Town of Huntsville Community Planning Permit Bylaw. This started about 1.5 years ago, and it's in its final stages of approval. This new bylaw we're fairly excited about because it will summarize and condense the entire process of how people can approach land changes, land use on the particular lake and around the community. So that you'll hear more about that. And you can see more about it if you sign on to the Town of Huntsville site. We also created a new template to add some clarity and structure to the LVA minor variance application process. So we get a lot of requests from the town to review properties around the lake who are requesting variances to complete building or shoreline, etc. And so with the help of Kevin Laframboise, we actually put a template together which summarizes it up in a nice condensed format, and we can put our comments back into the town and they respond to them. So we've reviewed 6 minor variance applications so far this year, and it looks like it's going to be a fairly significant year for them. We continue our efforts on trying to remove a barge from the shores of Big Island. It's currently, Tracy Rast has been doing a phenomenal job on this, and it's not easy to get Transport Canada to jump on it. So the receiver of Rex has now assured us that they do have the power to remove the barge and charge the owner. So we hope to see that come to conclusion shortly. And we also partnered with the Safe Quiet Lakes Decibel Coalition to try to change some laws across not just Huntsville, not just Muskoka, but across Canada on decibel levels on lakes from boats without proper exhaust systems and things like that. So we've just started that work with them. The next slide, please. With the help of a couple of our members, Rick Keevel and Roger Keel, we put out some new channel markers this year. So we replaced 3 channel markers that were launched in June, and replaced all the signing on them. So if you go by them, you'll see the new Huntsville signing on them. 2 additional markers were placed at Ruth Van Marine, Peacock Bay, to mark the sandbar that comes out significantly. Just later last year, even the OPP boat ran aground on that particular sandbar. So they're very happy that we got it marked this year. 3 new boater code signs are being posted. The one you can see on the left of the screen. We're going to be posting them at Ruth Ann Marine, Avery, and Hutchinson beaches. And really, this just talks about etiquette on the water and how to boat safely, and keeping everybody safe on the lake. Channel markers and speed limit no wake signs have been proposed for Hunters Bay. If you know it's going into the Muskoka River from Hunters Bay, there are no markers right now. We're proposed to the town to put 2 new markers there. And we have a pilot initiative for slow no wake and hazard areas. So around the lake, identifying particular areas that may be very sensitive to the environment, and then putting some floating markers so that people realize they have to stay away or slow down when they're in that particular areas. Ashford Bay property. Many of you, if you've been out on the big part of Lake Vernon, you've seen the one property that was clear cut to the lake. Just to let everybody know that remediation and restoration process has begun. The town is monitoring it very closely. And if you go by, you'll see the planting that's occurred last fall and will continue to occur for the next 3 years with a 10-year complete plan to restore the property. Next slide. One of the areas now that we've received a significant number of questions about is the new shoreline development in Hoodstown, the old Tipper Farm, for anybody that's been around the lake for a while. Vegetation clearing and road construction has been underway, and that can occur under the current bylaws prior to any application being filed with the town. The proposal is for 10 waterfront lots in the bay up there, and 2 back lots, and then the owner would retain 1 piece of property. The 15-meter Repetan zone that touches the water has not been affected at all yet, which we're really happy about. That would be a breach of a bylaw if that was done in advance. The town of Huntsville has completed a preliminary review and is now working with the district on the developer and applicant on the project. They met for a preliminary meeting on May 11th. However, nothing's been formally taken forward as of yet. So no applications have been actually filed on the property for subdivide or a rezoning. And both of those will need to be done. In fact, the rezoning will have to be done first, and then the subdivide afterwards. So if we go on to the next slide. There was a lot of questions about how fast this particular subdivision could move through. And just to let everybody know that the lands are subject to third-party appeal. So there will be a complete process in place for comments from the public. Additional studies have now been requested from the owner from the town, and they're doing both environmental and I believe some wildlife studies as well. LVA Environmental Committee has already submitted their preliminary assessment. So right at the very beginning, with the help of Maura Bryan, we completed a complete assessment of the lands and put our opinion in on how the land should be appropriately used. Statutory public meetings will be held, so the LVA will be circulated and invited, as well as any of the neighboring properties within 120 meters. We encourage anybody who is interested in this property or has a concern or support of this property to please contact the town, right? And just as a footnote here, the LVA supports growth and development on the lake. I don't think we could get along without it, but we only where and when the impact on the environment, wildlife, wetlands, and quality of water can be minimized. We really want it, every new subdivision or every subdivide to be done right. And that's our objective on the LVA. Okay, so that was good. Just a quick little summary there. Treasurer's report. On behalf of our treasurer, we're in good shape, actually. It's amazing what happens, just like you hear on the news. People's bank accounts and savings accounts have gone up. So was ours at the LVA. Our opening balance last year was 13,000 in the bank, and we're opened at 14,400 this year. And a couple of, we would have actually been in a better shape, but we had a couple of unique situations. We had one legal settlement that we had to pay for 13,350, which was a copyright infringement on a picture on our website. It was unfortunate, but
just to clarify, Peter, it wasn't 13,000; it's 1,350.
Yeah, that's sorry. That's what I meant. $1,350. Thank you. Yeah, 13,000 would have been a real hit. All right. It was so we're really careful now, and you'll see in our redesign of our website that we're using pictures on our website that are from our members, or ones that we really know that we have the right to use, so we don't run ourselves into this situation again. It was unfortunate, but it does happen. So on the next slide, you'll see that the interesting part about this slide is that in 2021, it looks like our revenues and our expenses are lower than in the previous years. And the major impact there is our expenses did go down because we didn't run all the events that we normally do. But the other one was our golf tournament. So the revenues and expenses of the golf tournament aren't reflected in the numbers. So that pulled them down a fair bit. But otherwise, we're in really good shape financially, and we're ready to launch some new initiatives that we can that will take some funding, and we're in great shape to do it. So thank you all very much for your continued memberships, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to turn this now over to Anne, and she's going to talk about water quality and some of the environmental impacts on the lake.
Yes, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clear, Anne.
Great. We have been busy. In 2020, the Lake Partner Program wasn't offered because the Dorset Environmental Science Center in Dorset does the analysis, and they weren't open. So we're pleased this year in 2021 to be able to monitor our lakes for different chemical parameters. It's an important scientific way of measuring impact on our lake. Tracy Rast, as you can see in the photo with a Secchi disc, is in charge of the Lake Partner Program, and she measures for 3 different components: phosphorus, calcium, and chloride. Phosphorus is the parameter that's used by the district to determine the level of development that's allowable on our lake. If there's an excess of phosphorus, and our lake is considered to be moderately sensitive to phosphorus, it's often related to faulty septic systems, soil erosion, and overdeveloped shorelines. You'll probably hear that over and over again, that keeping a natural shoreline is the best thing you can do for the lake from your perspective and from the perspective of all the other creatures with whom we share it. 2019 levels, because that was our last measured level, are stable, but continued monitoring is needed. On a day like today, when there's excessive amount of precipitation, often there's stormwater runoff as well. So any excess phosphorus is like plant food and encourages excess plant growth and algae in our lakes. So that's why it's closely monitored. Calcium is in the normal range, but it's declining. And that's been seen across the lakes in Muskoka. A lack of calcium affects all sorts of aquatic creatures, including Daphnia, which are food species for many fish, and they also eat algae. So those 2 components are measured, as well as chloride. Water is sampled in 3 locations, and samples are sent to the Dorset Environmental Center for analysis. Check out the Muskoka Water website, and the web address is there. Lots of information, specific information about our lake, and those parameters, those facts and findings are used to support decision-making at all levels about development on our lake. The lakes are sampled and tested on I think it's a biannual basis by the district, and we're on slate for this year. So the district also tests in many different areas on our lake and for some other parameters as well, like dissolved oxygen, iron, sulfuric acid, dissolved organic carbon. As well, Doug Jagger has been very committed for a long period of time in measuring the lake for water clarity. And that's what those Secchi discs, the black and white discs, are used to do. Innately, our lake is a little bit more brownish because of dissolved organic carbon. That's the input coming from the Big East River, and it also is from wetlands on our lake. It is currently stable.
That's why it's brown.
Yes.
It's organic carbon.
Yes, it has so a lake like a tea lake or a brandy lake or just innately have lower water clarity because of all the dissolved organic carbon coming from different sources. It is currently stable, but there is a long-term trend towards lower water quality. We did add in Hunters Bay as a test site this year because there is concern about increased development in that area, and we wanted to make sure that we're on top of that. So I'll go to the next slide. As well, Mar McBrien is in charge of our benthic monitoring programs, and benthics are aquatic invertebrates, include insects and other creatures that live. And you can see the technician in the photo. This is from this year's testing. She actually is dragging that through the mud because that's where those great creatures live. And they're an excellent indicator of the level of pollution of our water. Testing site is at Camp Twingo, and we were able to Mar was able to organize a group for that this year. We're hoping to expand to a second testing site along the Hunters Bay Trail next year. Mar coordinated reports by Riverstone Environmental to assess 10 years worth of data. And as in other lakes, the aquatic invertebrates that are associated with healthy water does continue to decline. So the Environment Committee is very active and busy, and lots of big and small projects. If you're interested in helping in any aspect of that, please contact me, and I have my email address there. So thank you for all that great work that goes on by volunteers on an annual basis, and we're really excited that we're able to continue with it this year. And I'll go to the next slide. We applied for and received a $500 grant from the Love Your Lakes program and the Canadian Wildlife Federation to rehabilitate the toe of Gallagher Island, which you can see in the photo. You've probably noticed the level of sedimentation. You can see the silt plume on a windy day. That grant was matched by the landowner. They've been very supportive of any planting efforts. We've tried on 2 years prior, along with the district and Rebecca Willison and the Natural Edge program. We planted a lot of natural vegetation on that slope to try to shore it up. And we realized that because of the level of wave action, that we're going to need something more structural. So this time, after submitting quite an extensive plan to the MNRF, rehabilitation is going to include logs, river rocks, then planting. So we're going to put some structure in front of that, the toe of the island, and hoping to do it well, so it can be a demonstration of how you could rehabilitate areas of your shoreline. Big thank you to Rick Keevo of Cottage Barge. He's donating his barge time for the project, and energy, and River Rock is being donated by Ron Earl. It will be a 3-day project happening sometime between July 15th and September 15th. First day, we're going to bring in some logs that are floating and near the area as the first line of defense. Then the barge will come in second day, and river rocks and landscape cloth will be placed. And on day 3, we will be doing some more planting. So there is an opportunity to help as well as a volunteer on this project. And we're excited about it.
Mhm.
What's next? Also a project of the Environment Committee. We commissioned professional graphic designer to create a lake map. And what you're seeing is one of the final copies of the lake map. It's actually a 20 by 24 inch poster. I think it's really well done. It's more for educational purposes than for navigation, because obviously the loon's rather large to navigate around. It does show areas of significant erosion. It highlights a bike route, some possible canoe routes, areas that would be great if you are a water skier or a tuber, wetlands in the area, trout spawning zones. So we're hoping in a fun way that it informs people on the lake of respectful ways to use and enjoy this wonderful resource. And finally, the Environment Committee has been frustrated because items such as aquatic weed mowers and sludge pellets and weed rollers continue to be advertised. You do need a work permit from the NRF before removing any aquatic vegetation through any means. If you feel that the aquatic vegetation is increasing, it may be because the shoreline is allowing too much phosphorus in. So the best way to stop that would be to revegetate your shoreline. Once again, there's something called the Natural Edge program. They're wonderful. They'll come in and do a plan with you. They'll provide plants at a reasonable cost and provide some advice. So those aquatic plants are key. They provide oxygen and cover for fish and habitat for aquatic invertebrates and a food source for many other wildlife. They also slow down the wave action and they capture pollutants and trap sediments. So lots of projects on the go for the Environment Committee and lots of input. And if you're interested in being a part of it all, just let me know.
Okay, we'll move on to John.
Okay, it's John McLennan. I think just given what Peter and Anne have outlined, you can see that your membership fees are going to good use. We can always use more members. We can always use more funding, but you can see that we're looking forward to getting a 2021 membership level of about 200 cottages or homes, 177 residents on our membership database. And as of June 17th, we have 142 paid members. As the annual meeting approached, I've noticed there have been 3 or 4 new reapplications or renewals. So that number is a bit low. It's probably closer to 146 right now. We have 18 new members, which is wonderful. We'd like to see that number grow. And I think a large part of the new membership is the propane discount. We have 78 members taking advantage of the propane discount. I'm hoping everybody is aware of it. Ian Hasty told me that propane prices are likely going to go up a bit this year, and that the price agreements or price structure will be announced, I think, within a month. But it's always beneficial to go to Moore and to Superior Propane to take advantage of the discounts. One other thing Peter touched on, this is the first year we've used electronic funds transfer. It's simple to use for people with computers and have bank accounts that allow for the funds transfer. For what it's worth, PayPal charges us a half or $1.50 for every membership renewal. So electronic funds transfer is more economic for everybody concerned, and would save some money for the LVA if people could use that process in the future for paying for the renewals. Next slide, I guess, please. We've got a number of focuses for the rest of this year and into next. I'd like to see the Lake Steward program enhanced. We have a number of areas where there are people, if you will, responsible for spreading the word of the Lake Vernon Association and talking about it to their neighbors, typically neighbors who have not joined the association. So the stewards are, for lack of better description, sort of missionaries. They're responsible for a certain geographical area around their home or cottage, and really just to spread the word of the Lake Vernon Association to their members. We're we're looking to expand that program and hopefully through that grow the number of members in the association to a number approaching 200. Also, we want to contact the unpaid members. We'll do that specifically in the next week or two with emails directed to them specifically rather than a general mail out to a group of unpaid members. We'll just sort of encourage them to send in their renewal contribution. And again, we'll encourage people to use electronic funds transfer rather than PayPal, as it saves money for the Lake Vernon Association. And I guess last but not least, having listened to Anne and Peter, as I said, the work of the Lake Vernon Association is often unrecognized, and the people within it sometimes are unrecognized. But I think Peter and Anne are doing a great job, as Tracy and many others are doing a great job too. But we can't forget our local merchants. They've suffered with the downtown digging, and they've suffered with COVID. A couple of businesses have shut down. Restaurants are certainly suffering because they can only use patios, and God knows no one's using a patio today. So I encourage members and neighbors of members and anybody in the area to patronize our local merchants, because they're depending on us and we depend on them, and we need them to survive. So please go take your Visa card and your MasterCard and be generous. And that's it from me.
Thanks, John.
Okay, this is me. This is a communications report. So I'm just going to look at our new website. Just a reminder that if you want to find information, or if you want to post information, you can post it on our Instagram, look at our Twitter, and we have a Facebook, and we use our Facebook a lot for Lost and Found. But the thing I really wanted to talk about today was our new website, or it's not a new website, the same website, but a website we revented it. Okay, let me just get to it.
She's the one that's got that house.
Okay, so just looking at our new website, at the top, we have pictures, and these are mostly from our photo contest, which Peter's going to talk about later. So that, just have a nice little carousel of pictures going through. Then we have the similar information that we've had before. We have a webcam, and if you click on this, this goes to an area on the north shore of down Ravenscliff. So you can see the lake from there, and it's kind of fun to see if the ice is in the winter, or just what's happening on the lake weather-wise. News flash. This can come off now, the fire ban, because it has been lifted, but anything that's current digging downtown, there's a link about downtown and what's in the Doppler. So anything that's happening that you need to know immediately, it will be right there. So looking at each of these, news flash, same thing. AGM governing documents, you want to contact us, all the membership details, environment. And so you can click on each one of these, and lake monitoring, you can look at the lake program and look at the benthic monitoring. So if you really are interested in looking at more details after this meeting, you can go on to that. What's going on, that's great for anything you want to see what's happening on the lake, and there's further details in all of them. So and there's Ruthven Marina's hours. The LVA, and looking at merchandise lost and found. So if you've lost something or found something, you can go there. So it's a great place for information, and it's a great quick place to go if you want to find out what's happening on our lake. Okay, now let's go back to the other one. Okay. Now we're on to Ev.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. I am very excited about merchandise, because we have some new things, plus our old things are really selling well. The merchandise is reasonably priced, as you'll see on the next slide, It's all locally sourced and it's a great gift, or just treat yourself. We've treated ourselves many times, I've got to tell you. If you look to the left, you can see what we have as merchandise. The Lake Vernon glasses all have a loon and Lake Vernon etched on it, and Lake Vernon is in the script for the Lake Vernon Association. All the glasses are dishwasher safe, which is great. The baseball caps, and Peter, you had one on, and they now come in 3 colors, white, black, which Peter was wearing, and we have a new one, navy. The float, the little yellow on the left, is a boat float. It's each family member of the, each family receives 1 free float ring. So if you haven't picked yours up, please pick it up from Ruthven Marine. And when I mentioned Ruthven Marine, we couldn't do it without them. They are carrying all of our merchandise. They do not put any markup on it. They sell it for us. They collect the money for us. So a big thank you to Mike and Ruthven for doing that. And as Deb, you mentioned, Ruthven hours are on our Facebook page and also on the website. So if you want to know when they're open, go on the site. If they aren't open and you want merchandise, you can always email us and we'll find it for you. We have 2 new items, which I'm very excited about. We have a coffee mug that you'll see on the left, and it has Lake Vernon on it, and they call it a whiskey glass, but I think it could be used for whiskey or water. It's a great glass. The water glass, it's not only dishwasher safe, but it's also microwave safe to heat up that coffee. So those are 2 new items, and you can see there where you can order. And again, if you go on the website, you'll see that. I want to say though, for the whiskey glass, because we weren't sure how many whiskey drinkers we have out there, we know we have a huge number of wine drinkers because we have sold 166 wine glasses. So that's our biggest seller. So I'm not sure about whiskey, so or water. So we can, if you, they're a great glass, as you can see. You can just send an order in to us and we can turn it around in a week.
Evelyn, I was just going to intervene as well. The new Lake Vernon map will be for sale at Ruthven Marina as well. The 20 by 24 inch poster, I think it's pretty cool, for lack of another adjective. Price to be determined, and the hope is that it will be out there by next week.
Sorry. The pricing is shown here, and you can see that it varies from the wine glasses being the most reasonable. And I don't think that's why they're selling well. I think it's because we drink a lot of wine, but they're at $12. And you'll see as you look down the prices, there is an advantage to membership. Members receive our merchandise at a reduced price. So all the prices are shown there. But everything is on $20 for the glasses is basically 18 and under, the baseball caps 20, and the map will, we're just working out the price on that now. Next slide, please. The LVA golf tournament. Last year we thought about doing it, but it just with COVID, we thought, no, we'll wait a year. And this year, again, it was touch and go whether we were going to do it or not. But we have made a decision. We've booked North Granite Ridge for Saturday, September 11th. North Granite Ridge is in Port Sydney and where we had the tournament 2 years ago. First tee off time will be 1:30 and the last tee off at 3. We cannot do a shotgun this year. The tournament or North Granite Ridge is not offering that, so it will be staggered tee off times. The cost, $65 for 9 holes, which includes a shared electric cart, taxes, and a chance to win a foursome of golf at North Granite Ridge, plus other great draw prizes. So a really good deal on the cost. The format again is best ball team scrambles, so you don't have to be a good golfer. Last time we played in 2019, we had 4 youths playing. And so they had lots of fun. So it's not just for adults. You can make up your own foursome, or we'll make up a team for you. And as always, we'll have our fun putting contest. The after golf social, this was the hard part. We just can't take a chance on the dinner. We don't know numbers. We hear time and time again that it's safer to socialize outside. So we've made this decision to do drinks and appetizers on the North Granite Ridge patio at the back, looking onto the, I think it's the 18th hole that it looks onto. We're working with North Granite Ridge on the cost, and so we will put that up on the website along. You have to register ahead of time because we commit to both the food and the tee-off times. So the registration will be open on approximately July 15th. So you go to our website. It was sold out in 2019 and 2018. So please sign up early. And just to finish off the year, we've decided to do a cleanup. We haven't done one since 1990 as the Lake Vernon Association. So on Saturday, September 18th to Sunday, October 10th, we're designating this as our cleanup time. We picked a flexible time because we know people are really busy, and this gives you some flexibility to pick what works with your family and your neighbors. Since we all travel Muskoka Road 2 and 3 to our cottages or our properties, that's where we've decided to focus. Plus, there is a lot of garbage on, sadly enough, a lot of litter on those roads. We're dividing the roads up into sections, and each group will clean up about 1 to 3 kilometers of roadside. Supplies have been donated. We've got recycle bags and gloves, and you're going to be able to pick those up from Ruthven Marina starting in September. And that would be weekends only or during their office hours. Again, thank you, Ruthven, for supporting the LVA. Next slide. A big thank you. In times, and John, you mentioned it, businesses are suffering right now. So for draw prizes, we didn't want to go to businesses, but if you've looked around or read the paper, real estate is doing really, really well. So I approached the real estate companies, and they all came forward, the ones I talked to. They provided the cleanup supplies and great prizes. And the other advantage of their prizes is they did gift certificates from local restaurants and businesses. So that also gives back to the local community. For example, we have a $50 gift certificate, a couple actually, for Family Restaurant. We have gift certificates from Beaver Tails, etc. So thank you to the real estate companies for doing that. How do you get in the draw? Well, you have to clean up first, and the garbage, not yourself. You have to clean up the litter on the road. And then you have to send us an email with telling us about it, who was on your team, and we'd love pictures that we can post. We'll put those into a draw, and that's how you can win one of these great prizes. To register, because we do have to assign a section, it's on the, and further details are all on the Lake Vernon website. And it's on under what's going on. So lots happening.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ev. That's excellent. Last year we introduced something new to Lake Vernon, which was our photo contest, and you know, the topic came up because we thought people aren't socializing at least as much. They're sitting on their dock. So last year we had a theme about your view from your dock. We had a significant number of submissions. In fact, it was really difficult to sort through them all and try to judge where our actual winners by category and who actually won. So the 3 winning pictures are on the left there. First one from Deb Justin, right? It was a beautiful sunset shot, just perfect if you saw it blowing up. And then the second one from Doug Bennett was another gorgeous sunset water skiing, which just captured phenomenally. And in the third category, from Carol Milne. She caught this beautiful, like intriguing picture of a bird with a fish in its mouth that had just about to land on a particular branch there. So it was just an amazing shot that she caught. So this year we thought we would redo it again. And we picked 3 different themes this year, kind of similar, but a little bit different. First one would be kids will be kids. So we want to encourage the youth across the lake to take pictures. So an under 12 category. So if you've got kids out there with a camera or their cell phone or their whatever, their dad's cell phone, right? Take pictures and you'll be able to submit them in the kids category. And we think we'll get some interesting shots. The second one would be wildlife and nature. And the third one will be, again, fun in the sun. So have fun with your favorite activity and send it in to us, right? And all the winners will be announced in our fall newsletter as we did last year. We're setting the prizes right now. The prizes from last year were $75 gift certificates for Algonquin Outfitters. So we'll be probably doing something very similar this year. So get those cameras out and start snapping pictures, July 1st. Okay, the Lake Vernon President's Barbecue. We're currently just working on this right now. Our plan is to do it one of the last 2 weekends in August. And as you can see, there's not a lot of information here because we're in the planning stages of where, when, and how, and who we can get to come and help us with all the fun. But it'll be our standard barbecue. Come by boat, come by car, hot dogs, hamburgers, salads. Right, get to meet your friends, BYOB, although we'll include soft drinks and refreshments. So watch the website and you'll see the details of that come out very shortly. Vernon Ventures, Deb or Trace, you were going to take this one, right?
All right, can everybody see and hear me? It's Tracy Rast here. Hi, everybody. Okay, great. Vernon Ventures, for people who are not familiar with it, is a series of events that we started last year. And part of it is to encourage a paddling culture and try to also at the same time get people to explore different parts of the lake that they may not be familiar with. And last year we had 4 events, 1 per month. And we got to explore some great parts of the lake, interesting little nooks and crannies that you may not be familiar with. One we called Lost Lake. There are 2 Muskoka Conservancy properties. We did Hoodstown Shores, and we went up the sort of the little old, what used to be a portage up to Fox Lake. So we will be continuing with it this year. So please look for on our Facebook page and our website for details of the dates. Obviously, they're going to be weather dependent, so make sure you keep on checking to see if we're going forward. We are a very serious and adventurous crew. We were out Thursday night this past week, our first one of the year, and it was extremely windy and rainy, but we all had a great time. And so I encourage you, if you haven't done it before, no experience required. It's lots of fun. You get to learn a little bit about the lake and meet some new people. So I encourage you to join us when you can. Great. The LVA board, my resignation as president meant I had the wonderful task of heading up the nomination committee to fill roles on the board as they become available. I'd like to say first that all but one of our board members will be continuing for the 2021-2022 season. So thank you to all of them. Sadly, we will be not having Dave on our board, Dave McCaw on our board, who has been doing double duty as the treasurer for both the LVA and the LVEA. So we thank Dave for all of his work. And we really have appreciated getting to know him. I would like to take a moment just to thank all the members of the LVA board, some of which are not presenting today, but they do put in a lot of hours of their free time to make things happen for everybody on the board. So I'd like to obviously thank Peter May as the president, again, Dave McCaw, John McLennan, who heads up the membership, Deb Justin, who does double duty as a secretary and also heads up our communications, Sean Gibson, who is our resident techie and helps us with all the e-communications we send out, and Lindsay, Environment Chair Evelyn Funston, who, although she's a member at large, she heads up all of the merchandise, golf, and other events. Lynn Bennett, who joined us last year, is a member at large, but has been really instrumental in helping us put together a strategy for both membership and sponsorships. Rick Keevil, member at large, great historian, person on the lake, and Elaine Ray, who is also a member at large, who's always led our regatta for the last number of years. We have 2 open positions. One is for the vice president and one is for treasurer. The vice president, if anybody is interested in joining the board or knows someone who may be, if you could send us through the LVA email address, if you could send us your suggestions, would really appreciate it. The vice president essentially supports the president and helps, take some of the burden off the president's role, and basically puts them in a nice position when the time arises to take over the president role. The treasurer role, which is being vacated by Dave McCaw. We do have a person we would like to put forward, so we have to vote on that today. His name is Doug Bennett, and in addition to being appropriate for the role because he's a certified public accountant, Doug has had a successful career over 30 years, holding very senior positions at both Edward Jones and Scotia McLeod. He was born and raised in Huntsville, and although he had moved away for the bulk of his career, recently came back with his family in 2013. And obviously he enjoys spending time with his family, his wife, his 2 children and grandsons on the lake. And obviously he's a good photographer as well. We would like to have everyone's support to have Doug join as treasurer on the board. So I don't know if anybody could, if we could have a little, if there are any dissenters, or if anybody could acknowledge their agreement with putting Doug into that position.
So it's Lynn Bennett. I can move that Doug be accepted to the board in the role of treasurer.
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. That's great. Welcome to the board, Doug. It'll be really nice to get to know you a lot better. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, that really concludes our presentation part of the AGM. We're going to move on to any of the questions that have come through. And if you have any that you've been sitting on there, please, this is the opportunity to voice your opinion and or ask us what we're doing. So I hope today's meeting was very informative, and we can provide some more detail in more depth to you if you have some specific questions. So Deb and Trace.
Almost over.
Yeah. I'm just looking right now at the chat. I don't have any more messages. The one that I had was just an offer from Arvina Bennett, which is to say that they would be welcome to have one of the cautionary water signs placed in their bay. We sort of call it Ray Bay, but it's sort of this bay that's nearest to Falcon Point where it comes out. So they're just saying it's a great area for nesting loons. And this year, finally, loons have returned to the bay. So they'd like to help protect that if you wanted a place to place them.
Okay, well taken. We'll take that into consideration when we move that strategy forward.
Great.
I believe Ian has his hand up.
I think that was to approve the
Or was it? Okay.
voting.
Yeah. Great. Are there any, I don't see anything else in the chat. So if we don't have any other questions or comments, we can move to the closure of the meeting and the draw.
Okay, the next thing we had a speaker, John, who's going to talk to us a little bit about an event happening on our lake. John?
Wonderful. Thanks, Deb. Hello, everyone. How are you? John DeCesar here. We're relatively new to Lake Vernon. Actually, this will be our 5th summer already, amazingly. We just realized about the association, I guess last year, and we joined. Anyway, I won't keep you long. I don't know if you've seen any or heard any on the Moose as well. We're organizing not a race, but a poker run for August 14th on the 3 lakes in Huntsville. We've got a number of local sponsorships, and we're looking to raise $40,000 for the hospital. It's limited to 40 boats. due to COVID. And of course, it's COVID friendly. There's already been 5 homeowners that have put up their docks as poker stations. So you'll be able to just pull up. There's large cards. You'll draw your card from the volunteer, keep track of your score. And then we're all going to meet in front of our place. We're here at 200 North Drive, so on the Vernon Shores area, and announce the winners. First prize is $3,000. Second prize is $1,000. Third prize is $500. There's also a prize for best themed boat and top fundraiser. Of the 40 boats, we've already sold 15 boat captains. So it's got tremendous momentum. And at the end of the day, we're hoping to raise $40,000 for the hospital. So if anyone's interested in participating, it's going to be a wonderful day on the water. And that's on August 14th. Thank you very much for allowing me to share the fun.
Thanks, John.
John, just before you leave, how do you enroll in that? Where do you go? To the hospital website or where?
Yeah, so there's absolutely a link on the hospital foundation website. But what we can also do is anybody that's interested, we can forward you a direct link. I know Deb has also posted one of the posters or information pieces on the Lake Vernon Association. And certainly you can reach out to me directly and I can get you the information directly. No problem at all. Deb, feel free to hand out my contact information.
Okay, and it is on the Facebook. It's on the Lake Vernon Facebook.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. And again, it's not a race. Nobody's racing. It runs from 12 to 4 p.m. So you can just leisurely take your time and go to the different card stops. And then again, so the idea is that everyone kind of meet out front of our place at or around 4 p.m. where we'll announce the winners. So you will see a number of boats kind of parked outside of our cottage. So just be careful if you're cruising by. We won't keep them long. The award ceremony will take 10 or 15 minutes. And then end of day, we want to support our local hospital. Knock on wood, we never have to use it.
Thanks very much, John.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Hospitals are always looking for funds. So great initiatives. I'd just like to close off our meeting to thank all our presenters today and all our members for their support this year again. So thanks to everyone. When I joined the LVA several years ago, I guess I watched from a distance of how things went on, and I remember someone saying to me, oh yeah, you're the group that holds the regatta. And it struck me over the last few years that the LVA does so much more for the community and for the lake and in support of everybody on the lake, that I have a real appreciation for the last 5 years that Tracy Rast put in. She did a phenomenal job as president, and I look forward to her guidance going forward as we continue the efforts of the LVA. So if you have any questions or want to reach out to me personally, you can reach out at the LVA email addresses, either our generic one for the LVA or president at Lake Vernon Association. Both are published, and we'll get back to you with any comments or questions or anything you may have. So feel free to reach out, and we'll talk to everybody soon. So I guess on that note, if there's nothing else, we'll move to our draw.
All right, Peter, I've got, we had 43 participants. So I've got everybody's name on a little scrap of paper here, if you can see. So drum roll, Deb, hey? Okay, and hopefully it's not me. Okay, it's Lynn Bennett. Hey, Lynn, you won. I hope you don't feel bad about that. All right, so Lynn Bennett.
Thank you, and I don't feel bad.
Okay, well, anyway, Deb will be in touch to make the delivery of the wonderful door prize. So anyways,
Thank you.
great. Awesome.
So beers at Lynn's later.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. And good job, team, for keeping it to an hour.
Awesome.
Yes,
Love that,
thanks.
everybody.
Okay, well, thanks everyone. We'll adjourn the meeting and have a great afternoon.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Deb.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.